Okay, welcome to Bitrix Live. I'm Damien Edwards, Commercial Manager of Bitrix Partners Interface. With me I've got our Support Manager Andy Naylor.
Hi guys, welcome to the webinar, the Bitrix24 Live. We are going to be here for the next hour, and we're here every Thursday at 10 AM Eastern Time. We will be taking any questions that you put in the box on YouTube. You can email us at live@intraface.com, or you can send us a tweet at Intraface.
Okay, so our contact details are up there on the screen. If you need to get in touch with us, we're Bitrix Partners. We're based in we're in the UK. We've got offices in the US and Dubai. And we provide a full implementation service, so we can do a demo, pre-sale stage, full implementation, and then provide training and support as well. So let's start with a question. I think we had a question come in. You got a question come in earlier, Andy?
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions. Well, I've got a few questions actually come in. We'll start with quite an easy one and a regular question that we get on Bitrix, and it's basically when you send an automated email out of Bitrix, it does sometimes have the Bitrix24 message on the bottom of the email. So where things usually are located in the CRM, so that I've come to the CRM here, gone into settings, and if we click into other, then we can click into other settings, and I do believe it is in here, so we can remove. I think it may have been moved. I think if you just. I think we might have to come back to this question. I think it has been moved, so I will come back and I will have a check. But it was in the settings, and I will come back and be able to show you in a moment.
Okay. How can I submit a form? How can I submit a form? I have it create. Not sure what that question. Not sure what that question means.
Let me just check. I think that the question came through: how can I submit a form and have it create a lead and send an automated email? I don't know if you want to show that one.
Okay, how can I submit a form and have it create a lead? Okay, so if you go into CRM, the CRM, and we can go into CRM forms. It's probably in your in the more section. Think you need administrator access probably to access this as well, and here you can create the form. So you want to submit a form, have it create a lead. So let's create a new form from scratch. So give the form a name for our own reference. Let's call it inquiry. Give the form a name which will appear on the page, and we can then bring in any fields from these modules over here. It's going to create a lead, so let's choose the lead field. So probably want to request their name, first name and last name. Probably want to request company name and maybe address or something like that. So this will allow you to select any standard fields that exist within the lead module. In addition, any custom fields that you create will become available to populate the form. There are a few other things you can do down here around creating separators on the form. So oops, let's get rid of that. Creating a separator like this. If I want to move this up to there, I can do that. There is one more thing in terms of a product list. So if you've got products, no products set up on this side. If you've got products set up, then you can you can create a mini order form, turn this into a mini order form, but I think this is just a general inquiry form, so let's take that one out. Okay, we can put in some description here, which will be sort of grayed out text in the form to help people understand what they need to specify. You can make this a required field, mandatory field. Can't submit it unless they populate that field. So you click in the settings and set those. We can style it up a little bit, changing the colour of the button if we want to do this, and we can select who's going to be responsible for this. So it's going to create a record in the system. In this case, it's going to create a lead, and we need to assign that lead. That lead has to be made responsible to somebody. If we want to remove the Bitrix signature, we can do that by selecting here. You can create some rules. So let's say if company name equals, then show additional fields. So you can have fields hide and become dependent on the answers in earlier fields. And then I'm not going through all this, but we can put some styling into the form as well. We can choose from some standard styling. We can attach our own CSS style sheet, or we can write our own style sheet into here. If you're a web developer, you can do that. And then if we save it, let's save this form, and it will generate some code for us. So this is the form. Let's go into edit, go back into edit, back into the form, and scroll down to the bottom, and here's the code. So we've got firstly a link. Let's open that link up. It's not showing because it's not live yet. I'll enable this in a second. So we've got a link in case you want to just send people to use the link to share with people. We've got a link there, and that will publish the form on your domain. For instance, this site is demonstration.bitrix24.com, so the link, the form has been published on that domain at this address, this folder within that, this URL within that domain. You can embed this form on your other website, a WordPress site, or any other software you're using to generate your public websites. You can embed it, of course, on a Bitrix site as well. And this is the code you use. So we can do a general embed, we can do a button, so this will generate something like this that would open up the form, a link or a time delay pop-up. I think if you go into things like time delay pop-up, you can set here, where do we set the time delay? Delay there, 5 seconds. We can change some of that within this code. So that's how we create the form. Let's just enable it here and go back into this link now. That will be available for us. So there it is. It's given us some default text in there. I think it's given us some default text, or maybe your browser's pre-populated that. I'm not sure we put that in. But that's it. That's your form. It will generate a lead inside the system. So let's populate this with something and submit it. So we actually see a notification actually down here because we're logged in. Let's come out of that and go back into our leads in here. So it's talking us through the desktop app, and I've asked us to open it using the desktop app.
Got into the cloud.
We've got 2 sites open, so we've got a cloud and we've got a self-hosted site open. No, Bill, I did it on it's on the cloud. This is on the cloud, so let's look at our notifications. Oh, I don't know why notifications are not working until now. It's asking us to open with desktop client for some reason. Today at 3:10, so CRM form inquiry submitted. Let's open that. I think what we've done is set this new browser as the default browser. It's trying to open everything with a different browser So there is a link to take us into link from.
I think it should be it's generated the lead. Should be in the CRM.
Let's just go. Let's close this one down. It might be that we've got a process running on there that's interfering with it. Let's just go into this site because I'm on this site. Let's go back into CRM. So we're on a self-hosted version. This version has a bit more content on it. It might be that we've got a process that's doing something with new leads on that other site. Let's go into our CRM forms. I've got a form already on here, so I won't create it again. Okay, this one's enabled, so if we open up this, just check, let's just check that it's actually creating a lead though first. So if we scroll down, it is creating a lead, and let's allow it to create, it's going to merge, it's allowed to create a duplicate lead in case I put some duplicate content in the form. And go. So we've got browsers populated those. We can put address in here. Attach a file. Doesn't look like it's a mandatory field, so we're not going to attach that. Submit. So you can see that again, this form is posted on the domain. So we're on demo.interface.com, embedded in a public website. Like the internet's holding us back here. Okay, we did get a notification again. CRM form sales inquiry submitted. Go into our leads. Sorry, working a bit slow. Anyway, I think it's fairly straightforward to create a form, very easy. No coding, of course, required. And provided you select generate lead, it will generate a lead inside your system. I think it was that one, wasn't it? Okay, this is the lead that it's created. So we can see it's come from this form sales inquiry. You can report on leads generated from different forms. This is the information I put in a form and it's populated it inside the lead. So it's created a task, I think, because there's probably some automation going on. An automation rule, it generates a task here, and that has done that. I can see the task that's generated. So things have happened quite quickly. The form's been submitted, the lead's been created, and from the automation within the lead, it's created a task. People have got notified. And, yeah. Okay, can I use the iframe live chat from Bitrix24 in my mobile app? iframe live chat.
I think if you're referring to can you embed it in your mobile app? I mean, that's it's quite a difficult question to answer because
we don't provide an iframe for the live chat. There isn't an iframe available, is there? So it's not something you can just drop anywhere.
I think you can get the embed code, couldn't you?
Oh, you can get the so you can get.
But I don't know if just putting it into a mobile application. I don't know. I mean, obviously, if you put it onto your website and your website renders responsive, then it will work on your mobile website, in a mobile app, it's very difficult to answer the question because we don't know how it's coded. So, but yeah, I mean, you can always get in touch with us.
You get the code, you can try it, can't you? But it would work on a website, like Andy said, a responsive website, probably not in an app.
So I'm just going to go back to my previous, the first question that was raised, just about how to remove the sent by Bitrix24 signature in your automated emails. I was actually in the right place, just hadn't clicked, moved slightly. So if we go into other and other again, and then, because when an email gets sent out of the CRM using the automated email tool, it does say in the bottom of the email, it just says sent by Bitrix24. If you don't want that, and some people don't, then you just simply have to click on activity, scroll down, and you can see here on your outgoing email parameters, add sent by Bitrix24 signature. You would just need to click that. And it is a very common question because people like their own signatures to be on the email templates. Then you can add that as well.
This is another thing as well. Do you want the service code on your emails? So again, it's probably something you've seen, maybe not don't like too much. You can remove it here. Don't add. So there's a little code that drops in at the bottom of the email.
So
good tips.
Yeah. So a question coming in the week from one of our clients, just about with regards to a process within the deals section of Bitrix. Basically what the question was, what they want to do with any deal values with a value less than £50, and if the deal is still in progress after 7 days, send an automatic email out to the customer reminding them that there is a quote, and then it's going to repeat every 7 days. So I know a client is actually watching today, so I'm going to answer this on here. And so all we would need to do is, if we go into settings, it's quite a lengthy process. I'll be able to just show you, and you'll be able to gauge on here as well just how Bitrix business process tool can work as well. So you'll be able to see some of the features in here that we've not actually demonstrated before on Bitrix Live or the webinars itself as well. So once it loads up, if we go into the business process, apologise for the slow connection. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this business process in a template, in the deal, sorry. So let's go in and add a template within the deal. And we're going to call this quote reminder. And I'm not going to set it to auto run, but what you can do, we would probably recommend that every time a deal gets added to the system, then this process can be triggered, because then that would mean that it's always going to check whether it's in progress or not, and we can keep looping round on here. So what we can do is we need to first of all put everything in a while loop, and what that's going to do, it's going to have a reminder check on the system, and I'll populate that. So the first thing, what we are going to do is check whether the deal is in progress. So we can give it a name and just say check deal in progress. Now, I'm not sure whether you have a stage that's in progress, so let's just say that you do in progress stage. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this business process in a template. So in the deal, sorry. So let's go in and add a template within the deal. And And we'll say we don't have that stage in here, but we can scroll down, click on stage, and then we would select the stage that equaled in progress. So in this case, we don't have that stage. We'll just call it promised for this moment. Now, if you don't have a stage that's called in progress and you just generally want to check all deals that aren't closed won or closed lost, then you would just set one of these to closed won or closed lost, and then the other we could perform all the actions on here. So we can do it either way. And then let's just say not in progress. And then if we click on stage again, and we're going to say not equal to promised. So we've got in progress and not in progress. Now, second, what we want to do is check the deal value. So you mentioned that it's going to be, we'll give this a name. Deal value. And then we're going to check if it's more than £50 or less than £50 on this particular stage. And what we can do here again is check one of the fields that exists in the deal. And what we can do here is check whether the income field is the value. So we can say less than £50, more than £50. And then what we could do is we could check whether this is the first time we're sending an email out. So the deal will get created and we can send out the quotation, and alternatively what we could do is send the reminder email out. So again, what we're going to do here is pull in check. Okay. And then what we need to do with some of these is set a couple of different variables in here. So template parameters, and we will just take a look. So what we need to do is add a couple of variables. So we just need to add first email. It's quite a big process this, but hopefully you can see some of the different fields and types that you can do in here. And then we need to set a reminder as well. So in fact, this is the ID. So we'll use these values in a moment. And then what we want to do is check whether this is the first email or not. So if it is the first email, we're just going to send out an email with a quote. So to just check first email. And we can check the value in the variable code. So you can see here first email. And the purpose of doing this is we can set the different content of the email. So we can see check first email is yes, or we can check if it's a reminder email. So these will be the reminder emails. And you can select variable code, first email is equal to no. So once this saves, then we can start putting some blocks in here to send some information. And we can bring in, for example, we can send the first email. It's really good this because you can use some of the communication tools in here, so we can send it from John Smith, and within a deal we can send it to an email if a contact is associated to a particular deal. So once it loads back up, we can scroll and we can see here contact email, and then you can put whatever you like in here. So you can just put email, subject, put some content in, and you can actually attach the quote here as well. So we can attach the quote. And then what we want to do is just set the variables in here. So we can set. So now we want, because the first email has been set, we want to set first email to equals no. And we also want to set the reminder to equals yes. And I'll show you what this means in a moment. So if it is a reminder email, what we're going to do, the client wanted to wait 7 days, so send an email every 7 days. So we'll say wait 7 days. And then we can send an email here. So I probably won't fill this in because it might take a little bit more time. So I could put an email here, and that's going to send a reminder email for the client. Now we can see here we've set a reminder equals yes, and what we also need to do, just to make sure that this process ends, we also need to set, if it's less than £50, we can equals no. I'll show you what this will do now. Equals no. So what will happen if I now go up to the loop at the top and set the variable if reminder equals yes. So set we can set the variable reminder is equal to yes. So I'll just explain what's going to happen here. So what's going to happen is the deal gets created, and what we should do as well is set the reminder up here as well. You can see how complex these can be. So you can see here the deal will get created, the variable reminder gets set to yes, which means the loop will start. It will check to see if the deal is in progress. If it's not, it will end. So what we should really do is put another variable here saying reminder equals no, and it will drop out and finish. So we'll check if the deal is in progress. We'll check the deal is in progress. If it is, it's going to carry on here. It'll check the value of the deal. Again, if it's less than £50, we're not going to do anything with it. So again, we'll set the reminder to equal no, and it will drop out at the bottom. If it's more than £50, then what we'll do is we will check to see whether it's the first email. And again, we'll probably need to put another variable set up here to say first email equals yes. So it will come into here, send out the first email, and then we'll set the first variable to no, set the reminder to yes, and it will then drop out of here. And then it will loop back round, check again, and this time it will say reminder email equals no. We will wait here for 7 days, send an email, and again we'll have to set it to reminder. And then it will loop back round every 7 days.
If I use a self-hosted version of Bitrix and use my own server, is the information still backed up elsewhere? Let's have a look. Let's go back into the self-hosted version. So I think if you're using a self-hosted version, your options are to host it on a server in-house. Secondly, you can host it on a web server, any web server really. We recommend Linux, but you certainly need a separate instance for Bitrix. You couldn't share it with something else, things like control panel, work with a control panel and things like that on the server. Or a partner can host it. But if you're hosting it yourself, by the looks of it, then will the information still get backed up elsewhere? Well, we would recommend that you run backups on the server side. So your hosting provider will allow you to set aside some space to be able to back up. You normally do a snapshot, so you just back up things that have changed, so you're not using more space than is needed. You can back up though to the Bitrix cloud, and so we can schedule backup. So I can create a backup in here, but I think if we just we can backup schedule them as well. Yeah, so it should be able to schedule a little bit. Enable auto backup. Enable auto backup to have the most recent copy of your data. So we'll probably not do it now. But yeah, you can do that. There's a certain amount of space that's allocated for self-hosted users on the Bitrix cloud. I think it's limited. I'm not too sure there's any information about how much space it is.
I think it's 60.
Okay. Over.
I think it's 60 gig there.
All right, 60 gig. Okay, so it's a fair bit. So you can see quite clearly how much space you've got. You need to make sure if you're scheduling backups that you're not keeping a copy of every copy forever, because it's going to get full quite quickly. So, but yeah, so I mean, you can do it. You can do it there. If you're over that 60 gig, you're going to have to back up yourself. But probably wise just to run snapshots on the server. Anyway, but that's really, you should be speaking to somebody about, who knows about how to manage servers. Can I invite a client into a work group and share documents with them? You can. Let's go into one of our work groups. So you need an extranet work group first of all. Should we just create a work group and show how this would work? So we can create an extranet work group or an extranet project. Slight differences between the two. I think the layout is slightly different in projects. You have tasks first. Also a project that has a start and an end date. But we can create a group here. Let's call it. We can invite internal people into the group, and we can invite our external users. This user we've got set up is an extranet user. And when you create a group, you need to give it a topic. Let's just look down here what else we've got. You can enable different features. Obviously you're going to need to enable Drive and available on the extranet, so that needs to be ticked. So this extranet user can log in. So this is my group. I can see it's an external work group up here. I can also tell it's an extranet group because it's in yellowy orange. I've invited in our extranet user. Can't remember who it was. Let's just check. Work group invites. Tara Green is our extranet user, so let's log in as Tara. Go into the user list in the back end. So self-hosted has a control panel end to it. Don't get that with the cloud. which is what we're looking at the moment. I can authorize myself as any user, go back into the site, and so I'm now in our extranet. We can see that they get access to less content generally within the system, so they've got less menu items. On this one, because it's self-hosted, we've put in some examples of banners that you can put in. So you can add some calls to action and things inside there. Particularly useful if you're inviting in your clients and you want to offer them different services. So look at our work groups. So look at our notifications. John Smith invitation to ABC, so I need to confirm that. I've got another one there, let's confirm that one as well. We can connect our folder as well, we don't necessarily need to do that. If we connect our folder, it will mean if we're running the desktop app, we'll back up documents to a local folder, to a copy of that folder on a local machine. So refresh that work groups, and we'll see the work group that we've created. Here it is. So they wanted to share a document with an extranet user, but I guess we'll just do it the other way around to show you that. So let's add a file. So add this contract. There it is. Will be, I think, by default available to everybody in this work group. Let's just check. In fact, as an extranet user, I can't do permissions. So let's just log out and go back in as the other user, and then got some custom branding on that example, custom branding on that login page. So here we are, we're in our work group. This is the drive, and I've got my document here. Let's just change the view on that. You can do it. You can do a nicer view now where you see the documents like this. So yeah, I've shared the document the other way around from the clients, added it in the extranet, and I've been able to access it. Let's have a look at permissions. Do we need to enable them? Assign permissions. Oh, okay. So enable extended permission control for individual files. Okay, so we need to do this. So we've got a default permission for the whole drive. That might be suitable for you. You can change some of these or add additional permissions. So I think you've got to be, I'm not sure, I think you've got to be a member of the work group to access these documents. But maybe you don't actually. Let's see if you can share documents with somebody else. So let's say we want to share them with in this case, we're going to share this document with the group owner of BizTech project work group. So we can actually share documents inside this work group with people in other groups. Yeah, and Andy's ticked here, enable extended permissions control for individual files. If we save that now and refresh, then we should have, let's just refresh that page. We should have access permissions. So now we've got a new link just for this document, which allows me to set the permissions. It might be that I want to have just add an individual to this document. So users. Mary Jones, I can't remember. Anyway, we can give this user read, edit, share, full access, add to this document. So that's it. Good way to share documents. Very easy to manage sharing documents with people outside. There's one other thing you can do. That is a public link. So if you don't want them to invite them into a group, and quite often, it's not practical to expect your client to log in, remember username and passwords, and log into a system to be able to access the document. So in that case, I can get this link, use this link, send that link to them. They'll get a public page where they can download that. If you're worried about that public page being accessed by somebody it shouldn't, we can set a live time for that link. I can set it for 10 minutes. 10 hours. If necessary, I can set a password as well. So
I think one of the good things as well is with this is not only do you have the ability to get a public link on an individual file, you do have the ability to share folders as well, exactly the same way. So if we wanted to add a folder here, and I would say some tests, let's just say proposals, click on create a folder, then actually do exactly the same, share, get a public link. And if there's a lot of files in there, say if there's I don't know, people share 50 images, for example, as on a public page, the user has the ability to download as an archive. So they can download the whole folder as a zip folder. And Bitrix offers that feature on the public link. So it is a really good way of sharing folders.
Yep. Just put our contact details up. So we're not Bitrix, we're Bitrix partners. Bitrix sell either directly online. They don't have a sales team, so you can't really talk to them. But the product, especially the cloud product, is designed to be a self-service product. If you want some business processes or some training or some customization, particularly if you're on the self-hosted, then go through a partner such as ourselves. We can give you a demo and explain the different features and the different editions, so you get the right product. We can set it up for you, provide training to your users, particularly your admin teams, and then we provide telephone support as well. So Bitrix licenses are provided with ticketing support. If you want something a bit faster, it's a bit more. If you need a bit more intensive support, then our telephone support service will be better for you. So that's what we do. Get in touch with us if you've got questions or need anything on one of the numbers.
So I had a question come through just with regards to the client wanted to create a proposal from the CRM. And Bitrix does give you the ability now in the CRM to create documents. You can create any types of documents from standard invoice and quote template through to what the client asked for here was to generate a proposal from the Bitrix24 CRM. And the ability to create documents is available in the deals, leads and contacts and quotes and invoices. So if we went into this company, for an example, and we wanted to create a proposal, but in fact you probably wouldn't do it in a company, just trying to think, you would probably do it in an actual deal, because deal is where the monetary value and the information based on that particular project that you're building up through that opportunity is going to be based. So you would generally create a proposal in a deal. And if I just click on an example here in our system, and then once it loads up, in the top right hand corner you will have a document link here. So you can see that we have a document link. And if I click on the down arrow, we'll be able to see some of the pre-built templates that Bitrix can come with. So we'll just click on Add Template. And it's just important to note that you can build your templates in a Word document, so a docx file. It's pretty simple. You can style it and do your custom template in Word. And I probably usually recommend downloading one of these to start off with, so you can just see an example. But whilst you're doing it, if you click on the little gear icon at the top and click on Fields, what you can do is you can have access to all of the fields that exist within the deal itself. So
1500 fields there, so
it's really good. So if you've got a company associated to this deal or a contact associated to this deal, you can grab that information too. So you can see here that we have a symbolic code, and it's just simple as clicking on, if we wanted, I don't know, the name of this deal, click on copy, and then you would paste it into your Word document, and that will give you a dynamic proposal document once you generate it. So once you've copied it, added it to your Word document, save your Word document and upload it, give it a name, proposal, and then once you're ready to generate that particular document, all you need to do is click on it, and then let's just say click on packing sheet, let's generate a packing sheet. You'll be able to get a preview of your proposal, so you can review it here on the screen. And then, so when this one loads up, you'll be able to see, I think it's just a basic example. So your proposal will appear here. You can read it and check all the pages are correct with the dynamic information from your deal and from your companies and contacts. And then you can just download as a PDF. You can, like you could do with sharing of the documents, you can get a public link to be able to share the link with your customer, or you could send it via email. So if you clicked on via email, it's going to automatically add your proposal to the email. If you've integrated your email, you'll send it from your own email, and then you can send it to your particular user.
Really easy, it's simple. Probably take you about 2 days to set that up in Salesforce. Do it in Bitrix in about 5 minutes. So very good. Let's have your questions. If you've got any more questions, post them in to YouTube. Let's have a look.
Like I say, like Damien mentioned earlier, there are contact details on the screen. If you are looking into Bitrix and just have any questions, please do get in touch with us using one of the contact details closest to you on the screen. We can arrange a one-on-one demonstration with yourself or your team to show you what it's capable of and how it can benefit your business.
If I have a self-hosted version of Bitrix, do I need to take out support? So if you buy a self-hosted version of Bitrix, you get maintenance included for the first 12 months. So that means you get updates in the system. And they come through into your control panel area. Let's have a quick look. So you get updates in the marketplace, platform update. So if you're on a cloud, updates are applied automatically and you won't notice until you see some changes, improvements to the product. On the self-hosted, updates queue and you have to apply them, allow them to be applied manually. So I've got some here, I can click and install these updates. Got the option with self-hosted to allow beta versions. So this one's allowing beta versions, or you can choose to allow only stable, tested updates. So allowing beta versions will allow you to get new releases quicker. Do I need to take out support? So the license is including updates. It also includes ticketing support with Bitrix. So you can ask questions when you've got problems, questions about how to do things. This 24-hour response rate is on tickets. So depending on what you want to do, it might be suitable for you. There's a lot of videos which you can use as well for free, but essentially support's included for the first 12 months in a limited ticketing form. After 12 months, you should buy updates to your maintenance. You don't need to; it's not mandatory, but you should buy maintenance updates. They come in at 20% of the original purchase price, 25% a year. But yeah, I think if you want to do anything, you know, if you're serious about Bitrix being core system in your business, then take out support with a partner who will be able to come and see you and train you and provide ongoing support, and learn how you will want to develop the system to help your business. Seeing what you can do today, you know, using processes and creating custom templates and things. So yeah, I mean, you have support, but go to a partner will be the best option for you.
Got a question saying, what about facilities?
Facilities.
I'm not sure what you mean by that question. Don't know if you want to put a little bit more detail about what you'd like to see. I can show you.
Okay, I don't know if we've got any more questions.
No, I don't think any more questions have come through. Like we mentioned at the start, we're here at, in fact we've got a question come through here. When will we have the new online store hosted version?
So there isn't, so we have Sites is already available in the self-hosted version. Where's it gone? Yeah, so Sites is here. I think it's out of beta, so it's available as a stable update in the self-hosted. When you probably mean online store, you probably mean e-commerce. So that is scheduled to release on self-hosted, but there isn't a date for it. Will be next year, but
I don't think it'll be
first half of next year.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too far behind, will it? I think, like I say, it's still in beta in the cloud version. So as soon as that is lifted, then it usually would come straight after.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, there's our contact details. Get in touch if you need anything. Subscribe to Intraface and Bitrix24 on YouTube. Subscribe to Bitrix24, then you'll receive notifications when we go live, but also look at our own YouTube channel and subscribe there. And in addition, register for webinars at intraface.com/webinars. We have webinars on a Thursday at 11 AM Eastern Time. Monday at 11 AM Eastern Time. Currently do 7 different webinars on different subjects of different areas of Bitrix. Okay, thanks for your time. See you next time.
Thank you.